Pete here, coming to you from Mechanics Pete Garage. Today we're working on Russ's Jeep. Russ happens to be having a death wobble.
Death wobble!
99% of the time that comes from your traction bar right here, which has a bolt on this side, a bolt on that side, and a nut on both sides. Trickiest part of this will be trying to realign it once you get it back up underneath there. Might have to jack the axle up, down a little bit. As you see right now, we've got it up on jack stands and jacked up in the air with the axle hanging freely. So it makes it a little easier to get out. So let's get to work. This side of your traction bar, we have a 15 millimeter socket for the 15 millimeter bolt end. On the other side, up through a little hole right here underneath your coil spring, you can get to the nut on the back side. And for that, we're going to use an 18 millimeter wrench. We're going to stick it back up underneath there, get it loose. We could buzz this off with a impact wrench to get it straight on this one, but my metric sockets happen to be at work, so we're just going to muscle this one off. So what I'm noticing here is we're taking this out. This is getting really tough to take out. You can see that the bolt has backed out about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm tight on this side of this little bracket. And I can see an opening on the back side of the bracket right here behind the bolt. So what we're going to do is going to let the vehicle back down and see if it relieves the tension off of this bolt, and so it'll come out a little easier for us. So what we did was we didn't take it, it's still sitting on the jack stands on both sides, but we jacked up the differential right here. And so you can see how the axle's kind of straight now. We're both about even. It took the tension off of it. So now, time to take it out. So now it looks like the bolt's a little looser. See how I can turn it a little bit easier? Wrench is hanging on it. It's not quite as tight as it was. So it should be able to back it out here. I'll be able to get it loose and take that bolt out. But now it also put the tie rod in the way, so you wouldn't be able to take it out with an impact unless you had a wobbly or a universal socket on it. So on the back side of this bolt right here, this nut that we're going to take off, as we turn it, see how it turns? Has a little tang. You'll see it come out right over here. It's what's holding the bolt when we're tightening it. As we loosen it, we'll just turn it around. There it is. And then boop. Now we're just going to let it sit right there, and we're just going to take this off. Alright, so this little mount was in the way, so we took a little saw, we cut a little edge of the mount off, allow the bolt to come by. We also took the shock mount loose down here. That way we can get it down here and wiggle it around where it's real nice. So, then we'll just come up, there we go. Bolt's out, and this one's out. Time to replace. Right here, you can see where it's wore out a little bit on this side right here. This bushing sticking out. This one's nice and flat. Got some wear on the back side there. And it looks the same on the other end. A little worn, so rubber might be getting a little old and wore out. This side is on it right there. All right, we're gonna put the bolt on the back side. Get her lined up. A little tricky to get her lined up now. Just kind of work it in. There we go. Let's put the nut on that side. I'm just starting this one. And we'll tighten it all up when we get here. All right, see how far apart we are? We're gonna jack it up, try to get those holes lined up closer so we can get our bolt through it a lot easier. Yep, keep going. Keep going. Yep. Oh, a little bit more. Keep going, a little more. Right there. Pretty darn close. Oh yeah. There, it dropped in. Started because I know because I can't pull it back out. This piece is going to turn back up against the back right here. And there we go. Looks like a little beaver chewed on the mount back there, but it was probably not the right thing to do. It was the only thing I knew to do to get it out right now. So we don't have this on video, but I took this out hoping that we'd be able to get the bar out without having to cut the little mount. Now we got everything back in place. We're just tightening it up. I think the torque on these is about 78 to 86 foot-pounds. It is definitely a little tricky getting it in and out. You do need a floor jack to where you can lift the differential back up in the air to be able to get that to move back down and connect on the other side of the axle where it connects there. So that's about the trickiest part. On that one, on the shock mount, there's a nut on the bottom, but the nut's welded to it. You can't get it off. So make sure you take the bolt out from the top to be able to move the shock out of there. So that's about the most important thing on that. The other nuts are also welded on there so the bolts come back out. So you don't have to put a wrench on the backside like I had. So other than that, good luck, folks. Tune in for another episode soon. Mechanic Pete.
Mechanic Pete!
Signing out. You shall not pass!